Warm welcome to you here on TV News Hour, this hour on TV Sapiencia. The top stories today. The federal government says deductions made from the October 2025 salaries of civil servants were due to the commencement of statutory contributions to the National Health Insurance Scheme. From Tanzania, politicians are in shock over the massacre of hundreds of young protesters during its recent election. And in sports, star African strikers Victor Osimhen of Nigeria and Osimhen and Mbeumo of Cameroon are both aiming to feature at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, but only one of them will succeed. My name is Chioma Vic Chukwemeka. Thank you so much for joining us on the news. Welcome. The federal government says the deduction made from the October 2025 salaries of civil servants were due to the commencement of statutory contributions to the National Health Insurance Scheme. In a circular, the government explained that the mandatory NHIS deductions began in October, leading to the reduction noticed across ministries, departments, and agencies. The circular was titled Implementation of Statutory Deduction for the National Health Insurance Scheme. The clarification followed widespread complaints by federal workers on social media over unexplained salary cuts ranging from 1,000 naira to 2,000 naira. We are following up on the story. We'll keep updating you. Still from the federal government. The federal government has inaugurated an interministerial committee to coordinate the implementation of the ban on single-use plastics nationwide. The committee was inaugurated in Abuja by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary overseeing the General Services Office, Mohammed Danjuma. A statement yesterday, Tuesday, by the spokesperson for the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Segun Imoisen, said that Akume explained that the decision to ban single-use plastics followed the approval of a memo presented by the Minister of Environment at the Federal Executive Council meeting held on June 25, 2024. The banned items include polyethylene terephthalate bottles, styrofoam, plastic bags, sachet water, and straws. He said the ban aims to curb plastic pollution and minimize its harmful effects on public health, ecosystem, and marine life. According to him, improper disposal of plastic materials has become a major source of land and marine pollution, noting that plastics take years to decompose and contain toxic chemicals. Still from the aftermath of the just concluded governorship election in Anambra State, the Independent National Electoral Commission yesterday, Tuesday, presented Governor Soludo with a certificate of return as the winner of the last Saturday's governorship election in Anambra State, receiving the certificate at INEC's headquarters in Awka. Governor Soludo assured residents that he would work even harder in his second term to deliver more dividends of democracy. He said that by the end of his 8-year tenure, Anambra people would have cause to be proud that the trust they reposed in him was not misplaced. Describing the November 8, 2025 election as free, fair, and credible, the governor thanked those who contributed to its success, especially President Bola Tinubu, whom he said kept his promise to ensure a transparent process. Earlier, while presenting the certificate, the Supervisor National Commissioner, Dr. Ken Ukago, said INEC was fulfilling its statutory obligation. He added that the 2025 poll demonstrated continued progress in strengthening electoral integrity with the deployment of the bimodal voter accreditation system and the enhanced INEC result viewing portal, which deepened transparency and inclusiveness. INEC had early Sunday declared Soludo winner of the poll, announcing that he polled 422,664 votes to defeat his closest rival, Nicholas Ukachukwu, of the All Progressives Congress candidates, who scored 99,445 votes. The Young Progressives Party candidate, Sapo Chukwuma, came third with 37,753 votes. According to INEC, 16 candidates contested the election. Of the state's 2,788,864 registered voters, 598,229 were accredited, while 595,298 votes were cast. A total of 11,244 votes were rejected across the 21 local government areas of the state. We'll take a break right now. When we return on the news, the Coalition of Federal Pensioners of Nigeria has threatened a nationwide naked protest on November 24. These and other stories will come your way after this time out. Stay with us. Welcome back. Glad to know that you're still here with us. Now, the Coalition of Federal Pensioners of Nigeria threatened a nationwide naked protest on November 24 if the government fails to pay the outstanding pension increment, arrears and palliative allowances. The coalition's national chairman, Mr. Mukalia Ogumbote, announced this while briefing newsmen in Lagos yesterday. Ogumbote, who is also the chairman, Nigeria Union of Pensioners, NIPOS chapter, said the protests would hold if the federal government failed to fulfill the promise of paying the 32,000 naira approved pension increment arrears and the 25,000 naira palliative allowance approved since 2023. He said the pensioners in the diaspora had identified with the retirees in Nigeria, hence would join the protest from their various countries, making it not just nationwide, but worldwide protest. He appealed to President Bola Tinubu to intervene and direct the Minister of Finance and the Accountant General of the Federation to release the funds. According to him, many pensioners have died and many are dying due to hardship as they are unable to feed well and get good treatment when ill. Away from Nigeria and the story on pensioners, we move right now to Tanzania, where the politicians are in shock over the massacre of hundreds of young protesters during its recent election. Insiders told international news AFP that they are too afraid to speak out as a tiny cabal of hardliners around the president takes control. Now, gruesome images of dead Tanzanians have flooded the internet in the wake of the October 29 elections that triggered widespread protest over government repression. President Samia Suluhu Hassan officially won with 98% of the votes. But key opposition leaders were jailed or disqualified. The opposition says more than 1,000 were killed as security forces crushed the protest under the cover of a 5-day internet blackout. 2 weeks on, the government has yet to give any casualty numbers. Finally, in the world of sport, star African strikers Victor Osimhen of Nigeria and Osimhen and Mbeumo of Cameroon, both of them are aiming to feature at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. But only one of them can actually succeed. Nigeria will face Gabon, while Cameroon will meet the Democratic Republic of Congo on Thursday in Rabat, Morocco, in the semi-finals of the African playoffs for the global showpiece. The winners will clash on Sunday, also in the Moroccan capital, with a place in the Intercontinental Playoffs next match at stake. Whoever represents Africa will be joined by 2 teams from the Central American Caribbean region, as well as Bolivia, New Caledonia, and Iraq or United Arab Emirates, with 2 World Cup slots up for grabs. Nigeria are firm favourites and Cameroon slight favourites to reach the final and continue the fight to be among the 48 qualifiers for the expanded World Cup in the United States, Canada and Mexico. When the 10-round African qualifying competition ended last month, Algeria, Cape Verde, Egypt, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Morocco, Senegal, South Africa and Tunisia all secured qualifications as group winners. We keep an eye on this. I will keep updating. Well, that will be all on the news this hour. A quick reminder of our top stories. We told you that the federal government says deductions made from the October 2025 salaries of civil servants were due to the commencement of statutory contributions to the National Health Insurance Scheme, that's the NHIS. Tanzanian politicians are in shock over the massacre of hundreds of young protesters during its recent election. Star African strikers Victor Osimhen of Nigeria and Osimhen and Mbeumo of Cameroon both are aiming to feature at the 2026 World Cup. That's the FIFA World Cup, but only one of them can succeed. That's it on the news. Thank you so much for joining us here on News Hour on TV Sapiens. My name is Chioma Victor. Stay with us and enjoy the rest of our transmission. Have a great and interesting Wednesday ahead of you. Bye-bye.